and welcome back to another episode of the Level Up Show Live. We're going to talk today to an amazing rock star who has started a social media marketing business and is doing fabulously. So we want to talk to service-based businesses around here about how to start a business, how to run a business, how to get clients, etc. And I want to welcome to the show, as soon as I can get my run multiple cursors, Pamela. That are multiple screens. Here we go. Erica Plapite, welcome to the show. It's so great to have you.
Hi, thank you, Pamela.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a business owner. I have social media marketing agency, and I help business owners with content creation. And recently, I started doing courses as well. So not only I provide service like content creation, but now I actually teach them how to be their very own, as I'd like to say, social media managers and manage their Instagram on their own.
That's so incredible. We actually had another conversation, and I was absolutely fascinated by what you were able to accomplish. I struggled as a service-based business owner for a long time, but you didn't. You actually got an idea, got this inkling that it was something to do. Tell us about that journey.
My journey in business actually started right after COVID. I lost a job like everyone else. Well, most of the people actually. And, it was a difficult period of my life. Couldn't find a job for now when I'm thinking about a year. And this social media agency, I found them and they gave me an amazing chance to. They taught me everything about social media, content creation, management. And I took everything I could from that particular role. But when you kind of spend more time in the role, you start seeing gaps, that could be done differently. And then it was something that encouraged me to start my own business, basically seeing the gaps, seeing where customer wants one thing, but it's not being delivered, for example, or there is that kind of standard approach, one strategy for everyone kind of thing. And this was where I identified the gap and thought that I can step in and help business owners to listen to them, what they want, how they want to be seen and heard on social media, and help them to do that.
So starting a business in COVID was like so many people did that. And you did something that I thought was really fabulous, and that was that you got started in a role. I always say you can get paid to learn. So you got paid to learn, and then you found your way through that by noticing gaps in what was being offered and decided to take that leap. Tell me about that moment.
I spent actually quite a bit of time analyzing even the contract, analyzing the packages. So the first, I think, process or the first step for me was to see how they do things, how they work, how they approach things, how long usually it takes them to deliver the strategy. Then I started analyzing the strategy that they deliver to the clients. And then I realized this is another interesting point, or this is also important, but it's not included in the strategy. And I kind of started taking notes from the contract I had with that agency, because they hired me as a freelancer, to the work that they do, the work that they deliver, analyze their website, analyze their services. So the first step was, of course, to learn what they taught me. So once I learned that, I became comfortable, I mastered it. Then was the next step where I started kind of analyzing what they do, how they do it. And then the third step was kind of filling those gaps. Oh, this is how they approach a strategy, but they're missing, for example, best posting times, or in those particular posting times, they're missing key part, which is, you know, uh, your specific audience when they are active and posting at the time. So that was the next step, kind of taking notes and then building up my own strategy.
And that must have been exhilarating and also absolutely frightening to take that leap. I know that we, on our last conversation, had a fabulous we spoke about that emotional side. Tell us a little bit more about that emotional side.
At first, it did feel scary. But I think at the same time, it happened that I wanted to grow, but there was no place for me to grow there. I started noticing the gaps, the things that don't work, and kind of, I think I reached the point where I really burned out and I was like, I can do better, but I can do better on my own terms because it often happened that basically the agency was acting as the middle kind of man, if it makes
Okay.
sense.
Yep.
So they were talking with the client, sometimes agreeing certain things, not informing me. And for example, I didn't know that they wanted to promote something and I didn't promote it in the content. And then they go straight away to me instead of, basically there were many conversations that have been missed to tell me. And I was really frustrated about that because I thought it's better for the client, for everyone, when you agree on specific things, on specific number of posts and all these things, instead of being the middleman and sometimes passing the information, sometimes not. And uh, yeah.
What I hear is that you really wanted to serve the clients better and you thought that you could do that. What did it look like in your first month starting as a freelancer with your own company?
um, I think that, well, my previous experience during the COVID, I was doing everything I could to find a job. I even started volunteering. And that was the very first experience that have taught me how to communicate with clients. So I learned, kind of not exactly shortcuts, but if you have questions, instead putting them one in one list, for example. So I learned how to communicate with people, and when I started freelancing, those skills actually helped me a lot. And later on, I developed my own kind of questionnaire system. So basically asking clients what they want, the information that I need, instead of going back and forth and things like that. But I think this was also something that improved and developed even better within time, because the very first experience you kind of think, oh, that's all I needed. You start working and then you realize, oh, I didn't ask that. And then it kind of causes delays. And for example, if you're starting your freelancing career on apps, for example, Upwork, Fiverr, they kind of have more like timer based service or projects, let's put it that way. And sometimes it can be that with this kind of communication, or when clients are using third app to find you, they are not as active, they don't reply to you as you would like to, for example, through emails or through text messages, because you cannot take conversations outside on there. And those conversations get delayed. But it does get sometimes difficult, but it also teaches you to ask better questions and ask them in the beginning before you start to work, not only to make sure that you have all the information that you need, but also to identify if you are a good fit. And I think especially in the beginning, when you are just starting, you want to create your portfolio, you want to work with, you want to get clients, you want to get that money coming in. And it happens that you can't say no, and you don't know how to say no, especially when, you have that feeling inside, this client might not be for me. You kind of see the red flags of them, being, for example, for having the tendency to ask more than was agreed, or they might not be polite. And in the beginning, I did that mistake too. I ignored those flags, but it came with experience to learn the patterns and say no earlier. And it happened, of course, when I said yes, and then I regretted that. And when you feel like that money is not like worth all the stress, all the struggle that comes with it. So I think that was one of the biggest lessons in the beginning.
So I heard you say that you started working for somebody to get experience, then you started to volunteer to start to get your own experience, and that's how you started to learn how to communicate with clients. Then you went to third-party tools to start to get clients. Is that correct?
My very first experience was volunteering, so I
Yeah.
kind of built up that design experience. Then I joined the agency, and after the agency, I used everything I could, all the information. I still have notes. I love highlighting things. So you will find a lot of highlighted notes, a lot of sticky notes, uh, a lot of printed fragments from books, from everywhere. I got lots of notes, and I made all those notes. They were always there with me, and whenever I communicated, for example, if it was uh, content creation. So I used to ask what are the expectations in terms of content, but then I started, based on experience, asking better questions. What are your content expectations? What are your design expectations? Because it's two completely different areas, and you can absolutely nail it with, let's say, your content. They will love the content, but they will not like the design because you haven't asked even the shapes, all these things that they like, which is very important.
Pardon me. Water break. So how did you start to get clients? Like, tell us that piece, because that's always seems to be the missing piece, right? It's that, how do I get clients? How did you continue to get clients?
When I started my career after the agency, I became a freelancer. So I didn't set up my company yet. I just became a freelancer. And the very beginning for a freelancer is quite painful for some people. And I'm sure also what I've noticed in some forums as well, that not everyone wants to do it, but you have to lower your prices low to start getting people in, to build that portfolio. And then with time, you can, kind of increase your price. So this was my beginning. I've done, oh God, I remember my very first project, social media management for 30 days, including content, for $30 a month. Just to get that person, just to get that review on that platform, so more people could come in. So I didn't make any profit, any money,
No.
because for social media management, where you daily, usually with my packages, I do Monday to Friday engagement, but for that client, I did it for the whole week, for 30 days, like no breaks, and for $30. But that was, I think, the sacrifice that was needed, because it really helped me to get that review. Then I had a second person coming, and when I had so many people coming that I had to hire someone to actually help me, then was the moment I realized I need to start a business. I need to, take it away. I need to, because it really opened even more opportunities, because if there is a demand here, I can offer even more. And then it kind of developed to starting a business.
That's incredible. So most people won't work for $30. Most people
Yeah,
won't
true.
volunteer. Most people won't go get the role first. So what I'm hearing is who you are, obviously, right? Like there's no entitlement. Sometimes you see people out there, I think, that want to come in and just want to charge big money right out of the gate or start a course, right? And it just doesn't work, because the communication, I think, is the biggest factor to starting any business, is learning how to communicate with the client. I was talking to a guy yesterday who's built a software business, and he said that all he did was talk to his clients over and over and over and over again. And that, I think, is the key. And you did that through actual work. You worked with them and communicated with them until you got so many clients you had to start a business. What?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So when you started your business, tell me, what was the biggest hurdle there? And you can be found
Uh,
at devimarketing.com too, just to flash that one on there for us.
yeah. I think the very first beginning when starting the company was, I started working with some clients from the past. So whoever I worked with on the platforms, on those freelancing platforms. So we kind of went outside of the platform, not only from my own initiative, but also the people, clients that were very understanding. Because another thing to know when you start freelancing is that the platforms take quite a big percentage from what you get,
Yeah.
and which is 20%, sometimes can be more, and especially if you have other currencies, it's really painful.
Right.
And they also wanted, because they trusted me, so they wanted to move outside of the platform. So I started getting clients, or transferring clients from the platform to working directly as a freelancer. And then I was very happy to tell them that I started my business, and now I can take them on as dev marketing, which they were very happy with. And so that was the first place, basically contacting people that I have worked with in the past, because I had their socials. So I send them messages on socials, a simple friendly message like, hey, do you remember me? We worked on that particular platform. I even sent them images. This is the design that I did for you. And I got I got replies, and then I got the clients back, working with me, not on the platform, but now working directly with my business. And also the growth on social media, in Facebook groups, on Instagram as well, has helped me to get more people. But also at the same time, when you grow, you also get sometimes some negative things. So I heard people say like, why do you care about your layout? Because it's not trending anymore. But there will also be one part of people who, even in social media, all social media managers, they never have, they can never have the same opinion on something. There will also be some differences. But I still remember that comment. But when I go to Instagram and I do my daily engagement, and then I get messages the next day, thank you for engagement. By the way, I love your profile. I love your style. I love the green. And I think that's really, this is how I am making impression. This is how I'm making myself memorable, because they like the layout, they like the green, and they even take the time to send me a message. I like your layout. And I think it makes even bigger impact.
So if you were going to start again today, knowing that we're not in COVID time, how would you start your business?
Good question. First of all, uh, since I have all that knowledge, I think I would go to people directly. But not, we always get those messages like,
Oh,
hey, even
right.
on our emails, our amazing company, this is what we do, and we can do it for you. We can grow your, whatever it is. But I mean, don't start it like that. Be a person, sound like a person. And instead of talking about how amazing you are, talk about them. Like I did, I engaged again with people that I knew and that I worked with in the past, and I talked about them. Look, it was lovely to work with you. I gave them recommendations, and I also shared a reminder of the things that I created for them, and it was more like a conversation and less than like a sales pitch, let's say. And also, I think another thing I would do is, uh, I think there's a misconception on ads as well. So I would include that as well. Small budget ads when you're starting, uh, they don't have to be, they don't have to cost you hundreds of dollars, like $500 a month just for the ads. You can start with small budgets, and like, let's say you can put a budget of $100 for an ad. And when I look back, I think that would be another thing that I would do if I had to start over again with my business, because you need to be present, you need to be visible, and people need to know about you.
Right.
And because if you don't have portfolio, if you don't have brands that you work with, people will not trust you. And that social proof is very crucial. It gives trust, it builds trust.
Right. And what's the next piece now that you are moving? You've got more clients than I'm assuming that you got at capacity again with your clients. Do you reach capacity? Tell me about that move.
Yeah, if you asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I would say my capacity is here and I'm here. Like, I was over my capacity, but now uh, it's all kind of. I love working with clients one to one. I love creating content, but my next step is to actually help more people through courses, because of the huge success I saw in my Instapreneur course, and I saw how much people loved it and the progress that they made. My focus is help people with the content if they're truly struggling, if let's say they can't create it, but also help and support those people who are, I want to learn on my own, I want to do it, I know I can do it, and I will be there. Yay, I can help you. Here is the everything I can teach you, everything put there in the course for you, and I just want to see them improve and develop and succeed.
So you got to capacity with clients and then you developed a course, not
Yeah.
the other way around. What was the reasoning for that?
I think also scaling for myself as well, because in a course I could serve more people than, one-to-one, working one-to-one. But when I kind of, well, I loved it, absolutely loved it working one-to-one, but then I realized there is another demand as well for the course because people want to learn on their own. And this is where I kind of as well identified the gaps. I think this is what I do, or this is my strength, or I naturally got the idea of identifying the gaps and then filling them. And I looked at other courses, what other people are doing, what other people are teaching. Even in terms of daily engagement, everyone is saying, make sure you have good hashtags, make sure you reply to comments, but no one is saying about the outreach engagement, where you increase your reach through new profiles, where you go and engage with new profiles, with new people, and identify these gaps as well. Even with, creating content with AI, for example, there's also not enough information there. And this is, again, where I stepped in and put all that information in the course. And I think it was also a good variety for myself, not only to create content, templates, but also to teach. And at the same time, I discovered how much I love teaching, how much I enjoy teaching, and how much I enjoy talking to students, to my students, and also being asked the right questions. I mean, loved it, everything.
That's amazing. So it's called Instapreneur.
Yes.
Instapreneur. So we purchased that course and I've had my team go through it. Beautiful feedback. Love it. And I think with a course, I think you could do the course as well as you have and have gotten such great results from the course because you are a really great social media manager. You knew what to put in the course. And I think that was what I was kind of trying to dig at. Just, my ulterior motive was you were a service provider, freelancer, business owner first, doing and learning, and then you develop the course versus the other way around. And I think that's why you're having such great success. Any final tips for our listeners?
I think right now what I hear the most in my group as well, people are very shy to, because people want to connect with people. They want to see the person behind the brand. And many of them are even scared to share a picture, to show their face. And my tip would be for those of you who are shy, you will be surprised, first of all, to see how much more engagement that post will have, where you're sharing a picture of yourself, for example, than a kind of graphic. But if you're struggling with this, pick a picture, add your text, close your eyes, press that button. Because the scariest part is the one where where you kind of procrastinate and then you see it in front of you and you can't just do it and you say, oh, I will do it tomorrow, next week, next month. But when you do it, when you close your eyes and you press that button to post that post, it will be different. You will get used to it. It won't be as scary because it's scary for us, the unknown. So that would be my tip.
Great. Well, thank you so much for being a guest. A little bit of applause
Thank you.
there. And we will see you on this amazing road of being a business owner. Thanks for coming on the show, Erica.
Thank you so much for having me, Pamela.
You bet.